All right, so the thing is, last time I was going to do this, I thought, I don't want to mess with the computer and the software and all that stuff. I'll just put the phone up, play into the phone. Phone always works, it just goes and goes. It's all tied together, and so I did that. And went on for about an hour and a half, I suppose, and it turns out that it was stuttering the whole time, the audio and the video along with it, I suppose. It just, for an hour and a half. I'm sure it was very entertaining, and I'm sure you all remember that. You know, you're all with me here today, and you were with me there then. So now, lo, these many months later, I finally got the camera set up, and now it's 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning or whenever it is. I was going to do this day after day, and I just kept saying, oh, it's this time, it's that time, it's too late. And so I was just really waiting until too late was very early. It's 3:47 a.m. So that's the perfect time to do an unannounced live stream, I think. So, and I should have known, setting up to play into the phone was a cursed enterprise. Doomed, of course, but that goes without saying. Jinxed, perhaps. The jinx was that I had been warned because my old friend Rick Smith, who I was Zooming with at one point, and he's related to this situation, and that, his name appears on this flyer here. I can no longer see what's going on. It's way over there. The thing on the camera has turned itself off, of course. And Mississippi Rick Smith, who's been living in Singapore for, I guess, most of his life now, was telling me on one of our Zoom meetings that his wise old Chinese professor had told him, don't be practicing in front of your phone. Don't be sitting and practicing in front of your phone. So, in that sense, the fact that I was warned jinxed me, and the fact that it's an ancient Chinese curse takes it to the curse level. So, the basic thing here is that on the back of said flyer, which I'm assuming was July 8th, 1974, there's a song list. If you can read that. And it says, Master Song List, oh Master Song List of December 1974. And I am inferring from various notes on here that this was being prepared in advance of another gig that was, maybe I had worked my way up to 2 nights at the Moonshine Co-op with Rick Smith, probably again, which is one of the reasons for wanting to have a list of things to work on. And shortly before he would have abandoned me totally as, a hopeless financial drain and risk, and gone into the professional music biz. And this list I blew it up a bit so I could read a little bit better. This is still a work in progress. There are songs on here that were probably already, unique original versions of the old blues and old-time country repertoire, and others that I just was just going to kind of play because I knew them, and I would be doing, some sort of ad hoc put together of various sources that I had internalized them from. And then there's songs that were, some old originals going back various decades. And probably just, I was thinking, well, I might remember that. I suppose I could still do that silly old song that I wrote when I was a teenager at some point. How bad could it be? And then there's ones that I just thought I'd like to do and that we would work on them. And there's some that I probably never did. And there's others that I worked up from time to time, the Gershwin and that sort of thing, that I only learned how to play it and then would play it, and then I would forget the complicated chord thing, and then I would work it up again and play it again, or maybe I never worked it up. And some of these were standards of Rick Smith, Barry Churn repertoire that I couldn't really do without him in a way, because I see here my eyes just lit upon what we called the Brandenburg Rag, which was a old jug band number in which we interpolated the fifth Brandenburg, or at least the top two parts, and he would play the violin part, I would play the cello part for, I don't know how many bars we did at the moment, but that was a good one. So anyway, my idea here is that over the course of God knows how many nights and how many months and how many years, I will just read my way through this list and see how much of the song I can remember, if any. So you can't really call it practice. And as I said, it's the master song list. It's not a set list. So it was just kind of free association, as making up the first version of the song list. And so there will be a couple of the same kind of thing occasionally. And I thought I might just be telling you about it here at 4 a.m., but since we're here, I might as well get started. And this is with no preparation and no warm-up. Wait a minute. That's right. That's right. Yeah, we might come back and do the same thing tomorrow or the next day if this all has gone wrong again for some reason. But let's see what we have on this list. Well, as I was saying before I so rudely interrupted myself, a little bit of Chinese green tea, Rick. I was just listing things as they came into my mind. So there's places where there'll be a couple of the same kind of thing in a row. And of course, like a couple Hank Williams songs, a couple Carter family songs, a couple blues, course, I would never do that in a set list, and I would make sure they were in separate sets, if not separate nights, when I was actually making up the list, because unlike people who are doing a kind of thing, and that's the way I do it. This is why I have no gigs, because I don't have a 20-minute set of specifically honky-tonk hillbilly material. I can only do 20 minutes. That's why we have 5 acts on the bill tonight. I'll do a kind of thing, if you want me to do it with you, and you invite me and you pay me, I'm glad to do a kind of thing occasionally. But it's not the kind of thing my brain will let me do. So anyway, in the first column it says one night or maybe, so that's what makes me think it's a 2-night gig. And the very first thing on the list is this Luke the Drifter number that was being illustrated on the flyer from that July gig. Where did it go? Where is that July gig flyer? Oh, darn it, I just had it. I just showed it to you, didn't I? There it is. Yeah. That's right. So here we have the title track. Luke the Drifter's Men with Broken Hearts. Bear in mind this has been since 1974 we've been in this state. There'll be only a few of the verses, probably. It's what I remember. You'll see many just like me upon life's lonely street, shoulders stooped and heads bowed low, eyes that just stare at defeat. Poor men who live within the past, where sorrow plays all parts, and living death is all that's left for these men with broken hearts. You have no right to be the judge, criticize and condemn. You know that but for the grace of God, it could be you instead of them. One misspent word, one careless deed, and then the teardrops start. Death comes cheap to those who weep. These men with broken hearts. Oh, how humble you should be as they come walking by. It's written that the greatest man never grew too big to cry. Some were paupers, some were kings, some masters of the arts. Ah, but in their shame they're all the same these men with broken hearts. That's right, we're live. There are no second takes. There's no reading lyrics. There's no weeks practicing the guitar before getting on there and making a horrible raw sound. And then, right after that, what's the next thing that came to mind? I can't even read the 400% version anymore. Daddy, daddy, daddy. We used to have that better than 20/20 vision. Sleepy Man Blues, still one of the favorite things in my repertoire. I finally got to the point where I could tell the drummer to expect the polyrhythms of the change in meter, the odd meter. I have to get Dick Mackey on as a guest to tell him about that dream he had about talking to Frank Sinatra about my songs. This is also in E. There's something I don't want to do in a set list. I want the keys to change and flow and create a chord progression of their own, the way that the classical composers do when they're doing a symphony. Did you know that there's, every movement generally changes to a different tonality, and that forms a like a song into itself, a very long song. Well, this was a great amount of phlegm to be working with tonight. I'm glad I picked the right time. Anyway, this is the song by great Mississippi poet Booker T. Washington White, better known as Booka or Buka. And because somebody at the recording session, probably the first time, wrote it down that way. He said his name was Booker, and they wrote down Bukka, and that's how he got his name. He was a cousin of B.B. King, who said that B.B. said that part of why he started out bending strings the way he does was try to emulate Booker's slide sound, but I'm not playing slide. This is 1974. I haven't really started playing slide yet, When a man gets troubled in mind, he wanna sleep all the time. When a man gets troubled in mind, he wanna sleep all the time. He knows if he can sleep all the time, the trouble won't worry his mind. Trouble won't worry his mind. I feel feel trouble in my mind, and I'm trying to keep from crying. I'm feeling worried in my mind, and I'm trying to keep from crying. I'm standing in the sunshine just to keep from weeping down, keep from weeping down. I need somewhere to go, but I hate to go to town. I need somewhere to go to pacify my mind. Said I would go to town, but I hate to stand around. I hate to stand around. Mind, I would write my women a few lines. If I had my right mind, I would write my women a few lines. And I said I would do most anything to keep from weakening down, keep from weakening down. I what's the matter with my right mind? And my mind keeps me sleeping all the time. I wonder what's the matter with my right mind. My mind keeps sleeping all the time. But when I had plenty monies, then my friends would come around. My friends would come around. When a man gets troubled in his mind, he wanna sleep all the time. Said when a man gets troubled in his mind, he wanna sleep all the time. Said he knows that he can't sleep all the time. Trouble won't worry his mind. with mine. Alright, stand by. We're going to play it again next year. And it's, well, that was appropriate, if not rendered up to my usual standards, because I did have another day where I just slipped into staying up later and later, previous day, throwing out the rotten food from the refrigerator, and not going to bed till the sun came up, and then not wanted to get up until sun was going down, which is a longer sleep than normal, in case you don't want to count up on your fingers right at the moment. All right, well, this is going to be maybe the last song for this introductory session, and we'll review tomorrow or the next day. See what the technical difficulties were. And maybe maybe we'll have guest stars, and maybe I'll be all warmed up. So which song am I going to do? The one that's in line or the one that's right next to it, written in heavier? What is, most of this is a Bic, I think, new invention, and this is like felt tip, which may have been an even newer invention, which is why only the editions are using the newly adopted felt tip. But wouldn't you know, they're both blues of some sort. God darn it. I'll do the one that I don't do very often, which is the one written in felt tip over here. Something from my repertoire that I managed to squeeze in with the old No Exit Jug Band back in the 60s. Early version of this was on our 1967 tape. Or was it the 1971 tape? I don't know. Anyway, this was Blind Boy Fuller, very popular guitar player, and of course I'm doing a very different version, and it was even more different when the other guy was playing his minor key thing over top of it, and I was still trying to introduce some major notes, much to over his objections. But it's some years later, I was in the folk center, and this fella came in, older gentleman, probably much younger than I am now, but who knows. And he was a postman or something. And he knew these old blues songs from back when he was young, 30 years earlier. And I played him my version, and he said, "Hey, you're starting to get that." And then he, picked up a guitar and did just a few bars of what he remembered, the way it's really supposed to go, which is in a different key and, more like. And like an idiot, I don't even know who he was. woke up this morning about 4:30. Somebody knocking on my back door. They said, that's my rattlesnakin' daddy. That's my rattlesnakin' daddy. Said, that's my rattlesnakin' daddy. Wants to rattle all the time. Right this morning about 4:30. 5:30 he wants to rattle some more. 'Cause he's a rattlesnakin' daddy. I'm her rattlesnakin' daddy. Said I'm a rattlesnakin' daddy. Wants to rattle all the time. Right every morning till late at night. That's right, reason my woman won't let me out of her sight. 'Cause I'm a rattlesnakin' daddy. Said I'm a rattlesnakin' daddy. Said I'm a rattlesnakin' daddy. Wants to rattle all the time. That's the reason why my woman won't let me out of her sight. And I'm a rattlesnakin' daddy. Said I'm a rattlesnakin' daddy. Wants to rattle all the time. Old folks rattle, and the young ones too. Ain't nobody rattles just like the way we do. 'Cause I'm a rattlesnakin' daddy. Said I'm a rattlesnakin' daddy. Said I'm a rattlesnakin' daddy. Wants to rattle all the time. And we go to sleep. This may have been one of the first things where I tried to play some kind of guitar solo in the middle of a piece with the band. And I was trying to make it, sexy. I don't remember. I'd have to review, to remember any of the parts, but I was trying to, build to a climax and ejaculate. And of course, I didn't even know how to have sex at that point. Nobody would tell me, Nobody ever told me anything. I had to, succumb to the charms of an older woman to be helped out with this stuff. But I had a lively imagination and inner life, as I still do. Well, we're going to wrap it up there for this segment. Got through 3 whole songs of what looks to be about 130, 140 probably. So tune in for the next thrill-packed, danger-filled, exciting episode of 1974 song list, Cold Read.